Shalom. This week we are reading Parashat Tetzave. We're continuing to study these Torah portions pertaining to the Mishkan, the tabernacle, and later the Holy Temple. And we realize that everything going on in the Holy Temple, all these details, all the commandments pertaining to life in the Holy Temple, they're all designed to make man, to make us, to help us realize, to help us feel that there really is a God in this world. The Creator certainly doesn't need our service in the Holy Temple. It's all about His relationship with man. So last week in Parashat Truma, we read about the commandments pertaining to the tabernacle itself, the vessels. This week in Parashat Tetzave, we begin with the light of the Menora. We move on to the garments of the high priest and all the Kohanim, the inauguration of the priests in the Holy Temple, and the incense altar. There's a well-known statement by our sages. They ask, what is the meaning of the juxtaposition of the concept of the priestly garments next to the commandments pertaining to the offerings in the temple? And they tell us it's to teach us that just as the korbanot, the offerings in the temple, bring about atonement for man, so also the Bigdei Kahuna, the garments themselves, they facilitate an atonement for all of humanity. And there is a concept that our sages tell us. Each one of the garments of the high priest atones for a different area of human failing. The tunic, for example, atones for the shedding of blood, the pants for sexual immorality, the turban for haughtiness, etc. By the same token, we can ask, why does our Parsha begin with the concept, the commandments for the children of Israel to kindle the Menora? And Parashat Tetzave begins with this verse, "Now you shall command the children of Israel that they shall take for you pure olive oil, pressed for illumination, to kindle a lamp continually. In the tent of meeting outside the partition that is near the tablets of the testimony, Aaron and his sons shall arrange it from evening until morning before Hashem, an eternal decree for their generations from the children of Israel." You know, the menorah obviously is very holy. It's the 7-branched candelabra. The 7 branches, they stand for the 7 days of the week. They also symbolize the 7 attributes by which Hashem manifests Himself in this world. And the menorah is really kind of like the soul of the Holy Temple because it represents the light of the Shekhinah, the light of the divine presence that shines into the world. Everybody knows a famous idea that's mentioned in the Book of Kings, that the windows in the building of the sanctuary of the Holy Temple were different than every other window in the world, because normally the job of a window is to let the light in from the street to illuminate the building, but the windows in the Holy Temple were built in a very unique fashion. They were narrow on the inside and wide on the outside to allow the light emanating from within the Holy Temple, the light of the divine presence, to go out into the world. And the Midrash says that, commenting on the first part of our Parsha, it says it's like Hashem is sitting with man by the light of a lamp. And that, of course, is reminiscent of the verse in Proverbs that tells us the lamp of God is the soul of man. But the truth is, you know, the menorah is so bright. Why is it that we have to light it? And that's really the question, and it's a life lesson that our Parsha begins with. Why is it that we are commanded to light the menorah? And we know that the light of the menorah really is an allusion to the highest light that Hashem created on the first day of creation. And we are taught that that light was too good for this world, and God decided that He would hide it for the righteous in the future. So if the menorah is an allusion really to the presence of God in this world, why is it that we have to do anything? What is our involvement? What is the Torah teaching us? Hashem tells us that we must light the menorah. And this is an incredible idea. Hashem's light permeates all of creation. And that's what the Holy Temple really teaches us. But we can only understand that if we take part in disseminating that light into the world. We can only have the ability within our limited intellectual capacity to receive that light if we ourselves create a vessel in order to hold that light. This is that beautiful partnership that we always find in the Torah that man has with God. Everything really has to be within man's limitations, or else we really don't have the ability to receive the light. So the menorah itself is full of light, but the issue, symbolized by that pure olive oil, which is like the fear of God that we have to refine and get as perfect as possible. The issue is, in order for Hashem's light to really permeate this world, it has to be translated by man, by lowly man, into something action-oriented. We have to be able to bring that light into the world. It's really all very reminiscent of the beautiful verse in Psalms that tells us, "For with you is the source of life. By your light may we see light." We see light by your light. It sounds really pretty simple. Everything that we have is really through God. So man is commanded to light the menorah so that Hashem's light will be in this world according to our ability to receive it. It's all in order, as the verse tells us in this parsha, to know that I am Hashem who sanctifies you. And really, all of the service in the Holy Temple and all of the avodah in this world in general of every person, all of our approach to God, everything that we do, part of our divine service, is just for us to know as best as possible within the limits of our intellect, for us to know and experience and realize and feel the holiness of Hashem in our lives. And this is how the Holy Temple works, and this is the progression of these parshiot from Truma that talked about the sanctity of the house itself, to our parsha that goes on to the sanctity of the garments, and in between we find this concept of the children of Israel being commanded to bring the light of Hashem into the world. And as we read later in the parsha, it's all so that I shall rest my presence among the children of Israel, and I shall be their God. They shall know that I am Hashem their God, who took them out of the land of Egypt to rest my presence among them. I am Hashem their God.